Welcome back, Sports Underground. Continuing with the preview. Going on to the NFC East, clearly two decent teams. Two teams, I think, that are clearly below the other two. Starting at the bottom again, I've got Washington being the worst team in this division. If nothing else, then the quarterback play out of Rex Grossman, I just don't see him being any kind of a factor at all this year.
Yep, not too exciting. A team that continues to try to rebuild through free agency and not really through the draft. A team that really doesn't have much going for it right now, especially at the quarterback position. I wonder what Shanahan's going to do.
Yeah, I agree that where do you really start with this? Where do you start with this thing? Because you defensively, you don't really have an identity, and he's supposed to be a quarterback guru, but still, I've not seen anything that would make me believe that he's going to turn Rex Grossman into anything other than what Rex Grossman's always been.
No, there's no secrets there at the quarterback play. Interesting play at defense, some interesting players that I like, but nothing that I don't think is going to overwhelm you. Obviously, the Albert Haynesworth experiment failed. That might still be lingering. I don't know, but we'll see where they go from there. 5 wins?
Maybe 5, yeah. I don't. Some people talk about being a contender. I just don't see it at all. Moving on from there, you got the New York Giants, who are always in the mix. They're always anywhere from 7 to 10 wins, but they have a lot of early season injuries right now. And Eli Manning, I don't hate Eli Manning. I just don't think that he is that dynamic quarterback to get you over the top by himself. He's not Peyton.
Oh, agreed, but not by a long shot. He's not his brother, but he's a good quarterback. I agree. I think that the injuries are going to sink him early. I think they're possibly a team that could come back next year and be fairly strong in a division that is obviously dominated by 2 teams, at least on paper anyway, right now. But right now, as it sits, 500 or 1 game better. If they got to 10 wins, would it be overachieving?
I think that is overachieving from this year. I just don't see it. I don't.
No.
They're once again not really an identity. They have a little bit of running game, a little bit of a passing game, but nothing too terribly exciting offensively for me.
I always say this about this division in general, though. These teams always play each other real tough, and they beat up on each other.
Yeah,
you really can. I mean, you can count on maybe Washington upsetting somebody in this division.
Right. Second place in the division, I've got the Dallas Cowboys here. Obviously going to be improved from last year, at least they should be, because they were a complete and total disappointment last year. Tony Romo poised for a big season. Felix Jones, a new featured back. You still have some weapons in Jason Witten and Miles Austin. Defense has always been the question with Dallas. The secondary, very, very suspect. But that offense is going to overcome a lot of mistakes. A short, controlled passing game. Des Bryant, figures into that, kind of playing across the middle. Pretty sure-handed guy. So I think Dallas, top end is only going to be 11, but I don't think they're going to be worse than 9 wins.
Probably not. A little bit disappointing last year. Paralleled the Viking season a little bit. I think we talked about that a little bit in a different segment. On paper, they're a very good team. They've got to be a little bit better, don't you think?
I don't see how they can't be.
Right. Fix their running back problem. Fix their coaching problem if there was one. A little bit of a rough year with the quarterback problem, the coaching problems, the shifting in the front office and things like that. But have made some interesting and wise draft choices in the last few years.
Absolutely.
Locking up some of their players. A strong team.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they should contend at least for a wild card.
Right, and Tony Romo breaking his shoulder last year, obviously John Kitna, not Tony Romo caliber player, a journeyman, but he'll get the job done. But obviously once Romo went down, the season was lost, even without the firing of Wade Phillips and everything else that went with that.
And I'm not sure if there's another division in the NFL where your divisional opponents can keep you back or affect your overall record more than this division.
Right.
Because like I said, these teams play each other so tough.
Well, they do, and it's such a long-seated rivalry. I mean, NFC East, they've all taken their turns being at the top of the division, basically. And at any time, always rivalry games. They're always tough. You've seen the Giants for 50 years. You know what the Giants are going to come at you with. It's just kind of the way it works.
And I wouldn't be surprised if one of Washington's 5 wins or 6 wins comes against the Eagles or Dallas or one of the top upper echelon teams. It just always seems to happen.
Right. Speaking of upper echelon, first place in this division, the Eagles. I think they're clearly the class of the division. 12 wins, 11 wins. I don't think they're a 13, 14 win team. I just don't see that. But Michael Vick, at any time, the most explosive offensive player in the league. he can light you up. He can put 40 on the board before you know it. And also with Deshaun Jackson in return game, not only as a receiver, we saw that Giants game last year. He single-handedly knocked the Giants out of the playoffs with a great return. Now, obviously, you don't punt to the guy in that situation, but LaShawn McCoy, Jeremy Maclin, offensively as good as anything in the league, but there are some defensive questions. The linebacking core is pretty weak. We talked about that a little bit. But the addition of Asamoah and Rogers Cromartie at cornerback to go along with Samuels that's already there, tough to throw on these guys.
It is. A couple things to keep in mind, though. I think they were maybe exposed in the last 3 or 4 games last year. That might carry over to this year. People might have been able to figure it out. I don't know if Vic can be stopped.
Right.
I don't. He's that dynamic. They have great coaching. That's kind of an intangible that you can't put a price on or put a win total on. Another thing, we've seen it with Washington before. You can't always guarantee that your free agent, the people you bring in, are going to mesh and bring it together. Another team, maybe the Jets.
Right.
That parallel. They get there, you just can't quite get there.
Well, another issue is Michael Vick signs the big deal in the offseason, guaranteed money, maybe $30 million, maybe not $30 million. But here's the thing, not a great history of great decisions made with Michael Vick. He was hungry last year. He needed this contract. He's broke. Now he gets the money. He gets the big contract. Is he the same player? Does he revert back to old bad decision-making Michael Vick? You'd think he learned his lesson, but history tends to repeat itself. So for the Eagles' sake, Eagles fans, you hope that Vick's head is on straight finally.
Is there a more interesting team to watch than this Eagles team this year, maybe?
No, absolutely not. Because it could go great, or it could dream team explode where everybody hates you, everyone's against you, and everyone just wants to watch the pieces crumble piece after piece after piece.
There may not be a more hated team or team that people are going to be up to play against than this Eagles team this year, and therefore, people might project a 13-3, 14-2. They might project to be that good. I see 11-5. They might have, like I said, they might lose to a team like Washington out of the blue and be like, whoa, maybe you aren't so good, or maybe you aren't this dream team that we put together.
Right. Yeah, the dream team tag always comes with bad connotations. Other than the one that won the Olympics with Barkley, Jordan, Magic. Every other dream team, not really a dream team.
Yep, it doesn't always work. It's not a guaranteed formula.
Fantasy player out of this division, I'm going to give you Felix Jones. Now, not that no one knows him, but not a proven starter running back. He is going to carry, 80% of the workload, at least in Dallas. So I think he's sitting on a big year, and if Dallas wants to do anything, he's going to be a guy that has to carry him. I say 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns for Felix Jones, maybe a couple more through the air, but I think he's a big difference maker in the fantasy world.
I've got 2. I think one, Tim Hightower coming over from Arizona to Washington. I think he's going to be a big player in Washington. I think he's going to be a sleeper a little bit. Some people that can rely on maybe a third running back that might get you some points if you need him in a week. Another guy I've always liked, I know he's only been in the league 1 year, but Des Bryant, I think is only going to continue to get better.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. And the sky's the limit for that guy. He could be 80, 90 catches. We don't know because we haven't seen anything,
Sure.
To really get a read on how great this guy can be.
And he's not a secret, obviously.
Right. So that's the AFC East. We're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about, NFC East, and then we're going to come back, talk about NFC South, and then we'll close things up with the NFC North and our playoff predictions. We'll be right back, Sports Underground.